Hello and welcome back to the Health Professionals Bank Better Money Management webinar series, where we bring you the information, tools and tips you need to boost your financial well-being, get the most from your pay and work towards those life goals that matter most to you. I'm financial wellness coach Betsy Westcott, and my greatest wish is that every Australian enjoys financial well-being. It's my belief that the better skills and knowledge that we have around money, the better choices we can make to live a happy, independent and prosperous life. That's why I've dedicated my career to helping people make the most out of their money. I'm a financial wellness coach with qualifications in financial advice, home lending and money coaching. Today, I'll be sharing some simple things you can do to make saving a really healthy habit. But before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. And an important reminder for all listeners that this webinar is for education and entertainment purposes. It's not financial advice and doesn't take into account your objectives, financial situation or needs. You should consider if the information in this webinar is appropriate for you and contact a professional financial advisor if you're seeking financial advice. In the previous webinar, we looked at budgeting and how you can get your budget into better shape. Today, we'll be tackling the nitty-gritty of saving. That's something we can do once our budget's in surplus and we actually have some dollars left at the end of the month to put towards our savings. Now let's face it, the actual saving part of savings isn't really that exciting for most of us. But the things it lets us do are like buying a car, taking a holiday, building a deposit for our own home, or having that peace of mind of a rainy day fund in case life or your car goes wobbly. Today we're diving into why savings are a key pillar of financial well-being, savings goals and strategies, getting set up for success with a savings plan, and my top tips to help you stay on track. So grab your pen, your paper, the notes app in your phone, and let's get started. So we all want to minimize the stress in our lives, don't we? Having good saving habits and building a financial buffer can have a big impact on your stress levels and your overall well-being. Savings helps ease financial stress. Building a financial buffer or emergency fund gives you the peace of mind knowing that you can cover life's curveballs if they come your way. Savings helps you reach the goals that matter to you most. Whether that's for purchases such as household furniture, home improvements, saving for that big wedding day, travel, education, a new car, or saving for a home deposit. Good savings habits will take you right through to making sure you have financial security in retirement. Savings is a huge part of building financial resilience for our nurses and midwives, as well as helping you work towards those important life goals. But finding surplus funds can be challenging, especially if you're working casual hours and shifts. If your income varies from week to week with your roster, it can be hard to stick to a savings plan. And you can also be so busy looking after others, it can be hard to prioritize your own financial well-being. On the flip side though, you may have the option of picking up extra shifts that could give you some more options when it comes to boosting your savings. But you need to be mindful of balancing that with your overall well-being and protecting yourself against burnout. So we've looked at why savings matters. Now, setting savings goals and strategies. How much should we save? You might have heard before, aim to save at least 10% of your income. But we all have different financial circumstances, so 10% may not be realistic as a starting point. We want to aim to start saving, and then we can work towards maximizing our savings. The good news is that even small changes could free up funds to kick off your savings. Think about how much you spend on little things like takeaway coffees. For example, if you cut down from 2 a day to just 1 a day, that could be more than $1,000 in savings a year. Maybe there's something else for you, like home food delivery, because you're so exhausted at the end of the day, it's easier to reach for your phone and rather than getting out the wok. We've all been there. It's easier to save when you set a goal, so you know what you're aiming for. And it provides motivation to save too, because we can remind ourselves of what we're saving for and what our life will look like and feel like when we reach it. But not all goals are created equal. Your savings goal needs to be SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. SMART. A lot of you will have probably already heard SMART goals and be familiar with them. But if you haven't, here's an example. I will save $8,000 for a second-hand car in 12 months' time. A SMART goal. You might like to hit pause and have a go at creating your own SMART savings goal now using the formula on your screen. See how you go. Maybe come up with 2 or 3 savings goals. Get the feel for it. When you're setting goals, you also want to identify whether they are short, medium, or long-term ones. So a short-term goal, these are things such as an emergency fund, saving for a kid's bicycle, or a holiday. A medium-term goal, something saving for in the next 5 to 10 years, such as saving for your home deposit, saving for your kids' education. And then long-term goals, which are saving for your retirement. Now, see if you can categorize the SMART goals you just created into short, medium, and long-term savings goals, or you might come up with some new ones. They can be as small or as big as you want. Anything from saving for a new pair of running shoes, to blitzing your credit card bill, to owning your own place in the sun. The next step will be to prioritize your savings goals. Take a look at the goals you've just come up with and sort them into what you want versus what you need. Maybe you want to save for a dream overseas trip, but you also have some credit card debt you need to get on top of, or you don't have a financial buffer to cover life's curveballs. Prioritize the needs-based savings goals like these, getting on top of debt and building that emergency fund. They're top priorities for saving because we know that they really underpin our financial well-being and resilience. A rule of thumb for emergency or rainy day funds is to save at least 3 months' worth of living expenses before you start saving for other goals. Unexpected expenses or changes in life circumstances may result in you needing extra funds at short notice, and this can lead to financial stress if you don't have some rainy day dollars set aside. Some common examples of unexpected expenses might be car repairs, a dentist bill, a vet bill, or even just personal injury. Your rainy day savings can be used to cover these essentials if you're in between work contracts, or if your hours or shifts drop, or if you're working on a casual basis. So now we've set our short, medium, and long-term saving goals. How do we actually get there? That's where our saving strategies come into play. Saving strategies should match the time frame for your goals. Short, medium, long-term saving strategies. So, short term, a week's holiday at the beach. Have a simple short-term saving strategy. For example, making regular deposits from your everyday account into your high-interest, low-fee savings account so you're not tempted to dip into it. If it's a medium-term goal, something in the next 5 to 10 years, like buying your own home, you might set a saving target to deposit a set amount each week or month into a separate high-interest savings account or a savings bucket within your existing savings account. And I'll talk about savings buckets in more detail later. Review this amount regularly to maximize how much you put aside. For example, deposit a lump sum if you get a tax return or a monetary gift. Bump up your monthly deposit if you get a pay increase or increase the number of hours that you worked. Fact or fiction? About 3 in 5 Australians, roughly the equivalent of 12 million people, fear they won't have enough money saved for their retirement. It's a reminder that it pays to factor in retirement sooner rather than later. So when you're thinking about retirement and your retirement strategies, one thing you might do is make additional voluntary contributions to your super fund. Even a small additional contribution can have a big impact over your working life. Home ownership is another cornerstone of your financial well-being in retirement, so this would factor into your strategy too. So, you have your SMART savings goals, short, medium, and long-term savings strategies. Now what do we do? How do you actually put that into action? This is where our savings plan comes in. So, let's say your short-term savings goal is to build an emergency fund of $8,000 in 12 months' time. Your strategy might be to make regular deposits into a separate high-interest, low-fee savings account that you can still access if you need to. Your savings plan might be to research the different saving account options, select the right account for your needs, take a lump sum out of your savings if you have some to kickstart the fund. In addition, you might use a savings calculator to discover how much you need to put aside each month in order to reach your savings goal in 12 months' time. So, how's your maths? Because here's where you can do a quick calculation. For the emergency fund of $8,000 in 12 months, how much would you need to put away every fortnight? Did you guess $307.70? I thought you would. If you did, you're spot on. Your next step is to set up an automatic deposit of $307.70 a fortnight from your everyday transaction account into your emergency fund. For our members, that's super quick and easy to do in internet banking. Have you heard of savings buckets? Perhaps you already use them. For those not familiar with the term or wanting a little refresher, savings buckets are basically separate buckets or separate accounts for different savings goals. So it's easier to track your progress. They could even be a physical container, but there's no interest paid on your piggy bank, so we don't really recommend that. But a good example of a savings bucket might be your super fund. This is your retirement savings bucket. It can be completely separate, or it could be a completely separate savings account, or a way of separating your savings goals within one savings account by creating buckets. So, set up one account or bucket per savings goal. Choose the right account for the purpose. Consider things like interest, fees, if you have to make a minimum monthly deposit, if there's a limited number of withdrawals. Limited withdrawals can be a good savings incentive because you don't want to dip into your savings. Independent comparison sites can really help you compare accounts, rates, fees, and features. Some savings accounts and apps let you create your own buckets or goals within your savings account for things such as a rainy day fund, a home deposit, or holiday. Our mobile banking app lets you set up savings goals and track your progress towards it. You should also make the most of online tools and calculators. There's a fantastic savings planner on our website. Just type Savings Planner into the website search bar. So, what are some of my top tips when it comes to savings? Well, one of them is to kickstart your emergency fund by selling things you no longer need. You could make anything from a few $100s to a few $1,000s by selling unused gym equipment, kids' toys, clothes, appliances, even furniture. My other tip is to set up an automatic recurring deposit into your savings account. Date them so that they go out just after you've been paid and you know the funds will be there. It's also helpful to set up an SMS reminder or automatic bill payments to save on late fees. And for our members, it's really quick and easy to do in internet banking. Other little saving tips and hacks might include, say you go out to lunch with a friend and they shout you, rather than just spending that money later, take the money you would have spent on lunch and put it into your savings account. Other ways to boost your savings is always be negotiating on your bills and insurance policies as well. Make sure you adopt a mindful practice where you remember and re-engage with your savings goals to keep you on track and motivated. Review your goals regularly. And another way is look for ways to invest in your career to boost your income as well. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Hopefully you've captured a few key takeaways, such as make sure you live within your means, make sure you have some very exciting and smart savings goals to keep you motivated, and make sure you set up your savings accounts and buckets to support those goals. Thank you for following along. I hope you're feeling more confident and inspired to take the next step toward improving your financial well-being. And make sure you tune in to our third and final webinar in our Better Money Management series, where we'll be looking at what it means to be credit healthy and why it's such an important part of your overall financial well-being. In the meantime, make sure you check out our Savings Planner tool on our website to kickstart your savings journey. Just type Savings Planner into the website search bar. I'm Betsy Westcott. I'll see you next time.